While you've been trusting these multi-million and multi-billion dollar brands, they've been slipping ingredients into your routine that can cause more long-term damage than skipping wash day altogether. So why would a huge company knowingly put something harmful into products they sell every single day? You know that feeling when you buy something thinking it will help, but it actually makes everything worse? Yeah. Grab a seat, because we're about to talk about OGX's Biotin plus Collagen shampoo, and this one gets wild fast. Here's the twist. This shampoo contains an ingredient called DMDM hydantoin. Sounds scientific and harmless, right? Wrong. It's a preservative that slowly releases formaldehyde over time. Yes, the same type of chemical is used in embalming and preserving bodies. Who sat in a meeting and thought, let's put a slow drip preservative used in mortuaries into a product people rub into their scalps? But it gets even more unbelievable. Johnson & Johnson, the company behind OGX, announced back in 2021 that it'd be reformulating and moving away from DMDM hydantoin. That sounded like great news at the time. The problem? Those older bottles with the original harsh formula didn't just vanish. Many of them are still sitting on store shelves right now, waiting for unsuspecting shoppers who never heard about any of this. And here's where everything flips. People bought this shampoo because biotin and collagen are marketed as ingredients that help hair grow fuller, stronger, and thicker. Instead, some users started seeing bald patches. We're talking clumps of hair in the drain, thinning around the hairline, and visible spots on the scalp. A few people said their hair looked like they had gone around with a lawnmower and lost badly. Lawsuits followed quickly. Complaints stacked up about intense scalp irritation, burning sensations, and extreme shedding. One woman said every time she washed her hair, it felt like her scalp was on fire. Not tingling, not mildly irritated, burning. The real sting in all of this is the branding. Those aesthetic pastel bottles, the sleek fonts, the salon-inspired look. Everything about OGX made people believe they were treating their hair to something luxurious and safe. But OGX isn't alone in turning your shower routine into a chemistry experiment. Triseme's keratin. Smooth line sounds elegant and high-end, right? The name alone makes you think you're getting salon-level smoothing and shine at a fraction of the price. But for a lot of people, that smooth experience went way beyond their hair, straight to smooth spots on their scalp where hair used to be. This line has been dragged into legal battles across multiple states for allegedly causing hair thinning, hair loss, and painful scalp reactions. And guess who shows up on the ingredient list again? That same problematic preservative, DMDM hydantoin. Our old troublemaker has re-entered the chat. Some users aren't just talking about dry hair or a flaky scalp. They're reporting what feels like chemical burns. Not the ouch that stings a bit kind of burn, but the I have to call a doctor and maybe a lawyer kind of burn. Imagine just trying to smooth your frizz and ending up with raw, angry patches on your scalp instead. Unilever, Triseme's parent company, has already settled similar lawsuits over alleged hair damage in the past. Yet somehow, formulas with these questionable ingredients still found their way into stores, into carts, and into showers. It's almost like they were hoping we'd moved on, forgotten, or never heard the details in the first place. The cruel irony, this whole keratin smooth promise, which sounds premium and carefully engineered, turned into a nightmare for a lot of people. Instead of silky hair that behaves, they ended up with fragile strands that broke off, tangled easily, and fell out in handfuls during wash day. For older Americans especially, that's not just frustrating, it's heartbreaking. Tresemme built its image as the smart drugstore choice. A reliable, affordable line that seemed like the logical option for anyone trying to look polished on a budget. Millions picked up those bottles thinking they were making a practical, responsible decision for their hair health. Before we get into the next brand on this list, pause for a second. If you want more deep dives like this that actually protect your wallet and your health, make sure you hit subscribe to Frugal Finds For You. We dig into the products everyone's using, but nobody's questioning, so you don't have to learn the hard way. Now, let's talk about what Pantene has really been doing to people's hair. Pantene has perfected a dangerous trick. It makes your hair feel incredible for the first couple of weeks, then slowly sabotages it. At first, everything seems great. Your hair feels unbelievably soft, shiny, and easy to detangle. You think you've finally found your holy grail. But give it a month or two, and suddenly, your hair looks like something that belongs in an exhibit labeled "Before Damage." The ingredient list reads like a mashup of harsh chemistry. parabens that can interfere with your hormones, strong sulfates strip your hair and scalp like a heavy-duty cleaner, and layers of silicone that coat your hair so aggressively you could practically waterproof a boat with it. That silky feel at the beginning? It's mostly the silicones. They wrap each strand in a plastic-like coating, making it feel smooth to the touch. It's like putting full coverage makeup on a damaged face. Looks flawless for a while, but underneath, nothing is actually getting healthier. Here's where the long-term damage creeps in. After repeated use, that silicone buildup keeps stacking. Your hair starts losing its natural movement. It becomes dull, heavy, and weighed down. Styles don't hold like they used to. Curls fall flat. Volume disappears. Washing doesn't make it feel clean anymore because you're just stacking more coating on top of what's already there. Meanwhile, the sulfates are working overtime. They strip away your scalp's natural oils, the protective barrier your skin desperately needs. In response, your scalp panics and produces even more oil to make up for what it keeps losing. Now you're dealing with greasy roots, dry ends, and a scalp that can't find balance. Then there's the shedding. Over and over, people report that once they stop using Pantene, the excessive hair fall eases up or even stops. One woman described it like turning off a faucet. The moment she ditched Pantene and switched to a gentler product, her hair stopped coming out in fistfuls. For older adults already dealing with naturally thinning hair, this is a disaster. Instead of helping preserve what's left, Pantene's intense build-up heavy formula can actually speed up the appearance of thinning and breakage. It doesn't fix your hair's issues. It puts a shiny filter over them while things quietly get worse underneath. But if you think that's bad, wait until we talk about Suave and the price of saving money on shampoo. When you are living on a tight or fixed income, every dollar matters. Suave knows this and leans into it hard. Their entire pitch is built around the idea that you don't need to drop $15 or $20 on shampoo when a $3 bottle can do the job. It sounds smart, responsible. Why overpay when you can get something just as good for less? Except that deal might cost you far more than you bargained for. Remember DMDM Hydantoin, the formaldehyde-releasing ingredient we talked about earlier? Suave got caught using it too. Class action lawsuits began piling up, with people claiming their hair went from manageable to completely wrecked, dry, brittle, and breaking like twigs after using Suave products long-term. Some users said their hair became so unmanageable and frizzy that every day looked like they'd rubbed a balloon on their head. What makes this so much worse is what those lawsuits allege beyond the damage. Plaintiffs claimed that Suave not only used these ingredients, but did so while presenting their products as safe, gentle, and ideal for everyday use. That's like selling a car with failing brakes and slapping a reliable transportation sticker on the windshield. The stories are rough to hear. People reported hair so fragile that it snapped just from brushing. Others described strands turning dull and lifeless, like straw glued to their head. Some even said their hair became so thin and broken that they had no choice but to cut it short and try to start over. And think about who this hits the hardest. People are trying to save money. Those setting aside funds for medical bills, grandkids, groceries, or rent. Instead of saving, they ended up spending even more on deep treatments, salon visits, and restorative products just to try to repair the damage. Chemical damage is not cheap to fix. Salon-level restorative treatments can run into the hundreds of dollars, and even then, they can't always undo what harsh ingredients have done. Suddenly, that cheap 3 bottle doesn't look like such a bargain anymore, does it? But Suave isn't the only long-trusted brand causing problems. Let's talk about America's favorite flake fix. Head & Shoulders has been the go-to anti-dandruff shampoo for generations. Your parents used it. Your grandparents probably did too. And to be fair, it does exactly what it claims in one specific way. Those zinc-based actives are very effective at reducing visible flakes. Your dandruff? Gone. Or at least, that's how it looks at first. The problem is what the rest of the formula is doing at the same time. Head & Shoulders is loaded with strong sulfates. These ingredients scrub your scalp so aggressively that they might as well be paint remover on a wooden fence. On the surface, that sounds like it would help with dandruff. Strip away the flakes, right? But that's not how a healthy scalp works. Your scalp naturally produces oils to protect your skin. When you strip those oils away repeatedly, your scalp freaks out. It starts overcompensating, producing more and more oil. That creates a greasy, unbalanced environment that can actually make flaking and irritation worse in the long run. Then there's another stealthy problem: synthetic fragrance. Companies don't have to disclose the individual chemicals hiding under the single word fragrance on the bottle. That fresh, clean scent could contain dozens of different compounds. For some people, those hidden chemicals can trigger reactions ranging from mild itchiness to full-blown rashes, hives, or angry, inflamed patches of skin. Here's where the cycle gets nasty. You start using Head & Shoulders because you have flakes. The harsh formula dries out and irritates your scalp barrier. That irritation leads to more flaking and redness. You look in the mirror, see flakes again, and think, I need more dandruff shampoo. So you use it more often, which only keeps the cycle going. For older adults, this can be especially brutal. As you age, your skin produces less oil naturally. Adding a strong sulfate-heavy shampoo to that equation is like tossing gasoline onto a small fire. Instead of restoring balance, it throws your scalp even further out of whack. Many users eventually become nearly dependent on anti-dandruff products. Their scalps lose the ability to regulate oil and moisture on their own. They feel trapped. If they stop using it, the flakes come back. If they keep using it, their scalp stays irritated. Speaking of hidden chemicals and fragrance, let's move to a brand that markets itself like a tropical vacation in a bottle. Garnier Fructis smells like a fresh fruit smoothie poured straight into your shower. The scents are bright, sweet, and instantly recognizable. It's like opening the bottle and stepping into a commercial. Too bad your scalp doesn't get to approve the guest list of what's actually in that fragrance. Those fruity, candy-like scents are not real mango, coconut, or citrus. They're synthetic blends. Lab-created cocktails of chemicals bundled under that single vague word, fragrance. Companies aren't legally required to list the individual components inside that blend. It's considered proprietary. That one word can hide dozens of separate chemicals. Some of these are suspected endocrine disruptors, meaning they can interfere with your hormone balance over time. Your scalp is skin, and skin absorbs what you put on it. Those compounds don't just vanish because you rinse the suds away. The reactions don't always show up right away. It might start as a little itching, a bit of redness, or mild irritation you write off as dry scalp or sensitive skin. But with repeated use, your body can hit a breaking point. That's when some people develop full-on contact dermatitis, angry, red, inflamed skin that may require medical creams and prescription solutions to calm down. Now let's talk about the whole blends line. The bottles and labels scream natural. You see images of honey, avocado, oats, and other cozy ingredients. The marketing implies gentle, nature-inspired formulas. In reality, many of those products still contain artificial dyes, strong fragrance blends, and preservatives that have nothing to do with a farmer's market. That's textbook greenwashing. You're being sold an image of nature and simplicity, while the formula still leans heavily on synthetic chemistry. For someone with sensitive or aging skin, that's a dangerous mix. Years of exposure don't just disappear. They build up like interest on a credit card you keep ignoring. Your scalp remembers. And while we're on the topic of bad ideas, let's talk about one of the strangest trends: using horse shampoo on human hair. Mane and Tail started as a legit equine grooming product, designed for horses, for their manes and tails. On a horse, it makes sense. They roll in dirt, mud, hay, and who knows what else. Their hair needs heavy-duty cleansing and coating. At some point, humans saw those shiny horse manes and thought, if it works for them, it must give me incredible hair too. But the lawsuits tell a different story. Straight Arrow Products, the maker of Mane and Tail, has faced class action suits from people claiming severe scalp irritation, hair loss, and bald spots after using the product on themselves. And once again, formaldehyde-releasing preservatives like DMDM hydantoin show up on the ingredient list. The pattern is hard to ignore. Here's the simple truth that gets lost in the hype. Horsehair and human hair are not the same. Horses have thick, coarse hair meant to withstand exposure to the elements and rough contact. Human hair, especially aging or thinning hair, is far more delicate. The heavy protein-rich formulas designed for animals can overload and dry out human strands, leading to breakage. Imagine using tools meant for farm equipment on a delicate piece of jewelry. It doesn't end well. Using horse shampoo on your own head is basically doing that. It's technically shampoo, but it's completely wrong for what your scalp and hair actually need. Some users reported chemical burns so intense that they needed to see dermatologists. In some cases, the hair loss in affected areas was permanent. That's a very high price to pay for a trend that spread mostly through word of mouth and social media. At this point, you're probably thinking, okay, so what can I actually use without destroying my hair? Good news. Not every brand is a walking lawsuit waiting to happen. There are a couple of lines that are actually worth considering. Before we get into those, if you're finding this breakdown eye-opening, now is the perfect time to hit that subscribe button for Frugal Finds for You. We don't just tell you what's cheap, we tell you what's actually worth your money and what might secretly be costing you more in the long run. Now, let's finally talk about the good stuff. After dragging 7 major brands through the mud, let's look at a line that actually earns the premium label, Alterna's Caviar Anti-Aging Range. Yes, it really does use caviar extract. No, that doesn't mean someone is smearing fish eggs directly into your shampoo bottle. It means they're using marine-based proteins and fatty acids that offer real benefits for aging hair. Alterna's Caviar line is specifically formulated for hair that's dealing with the realities of time: thinning, dryness, brittleness, and loss of shine. The kind of hair that feels more stubborn after 50 than it ever did at 20. The caviar extract is rich in omega fatty acids and nutrients that actually penetrate the hair shaft. Instead of simply coating each strand and calling it a day, it works more like a rehab program for your hair from the inside out. The formulas are free from sulfates, parabens, and formaldehyde-releasing preservatives. That toxic trio we've seen popping up in all the horror stories? Not here. The focus is on repairing, protecting, and supporting your hair's health, not just making it feel nice for a week and then falling apart. Now, let's be honest. This line is not cheap. A single bottle can run around $30 to $40. At first glance, that sounds steep. But because the formulas are concentrated, you don't need giant handfuls every time you wash. A little goes a long way. For many users, one bottle can last 2 to 3 months, sometimes more, depending on hair length and wash frequency. People who stick with it often report stronger hair, less breakage, improved softness, and better manageability within a few weeks. That feeling of, maybe I don't need a hat today, starts to come back. For anyone who has spent years battling dryness and shedding, that's huge. But if the price still makes your budget nervous, there is another brand that hits a much friendlier price point without loading your hair with junk. Enter Biotin. This brand proves that safer, more thoughtful ingredients don't have to cost half your paycheck. Most of their shampoos fall in the $7 to $10 range per bottle, and you can often find them right alongside the big drugstore brands. It feels like stumbling on a hidden gem in the middle of the usual suspects. Biotin focuses on sulfate-free and paraben-free formulas. They lean into botanical extracts and plant-based proteins instead of harsh detergents and heavy synthetic coatings. That means what you're putting onto your scalp isn't declaring chemical war on your skin every time you step into the shower. When you read their ingredient lists, they sound more like something pulled from a garden brochure than a laboratory catalog. You don't see the usual parade of formaldehyde donors hiding under unfamiliar names. Users consistently say their hair feels actually clean, but not squeaky and stripped. That squeaky clean sensation a lot of people chase is not a good sign. It usually means your protective oils are gone. Biotin gives you that refreshed feeling without triggering a panic response from your scalp. Your hair is left soft, light, and manageable, not dry at the roots and waxy at the ends. What really makes Biotin stand out is how targeted their lines are. They offer specific formulas for strength, volume, moisture, and more. That means if you're dealing with thinning hair, dryness, or lack of body, you can pick a formula that actually speaks to your problem instead of guessing and hoping. For older adults dealing with specific concerns like thinning strands, breakage, or dryness made worse by age and medication, this kind of targeted support matters. You're not throwing random products at the problem. You're choosing something designed with your hair's actual condition in mind. Biotin sits in that sweet spot so many people are trying to find. Reasonably priced, widely available, and formulated without the harsh chemicals that keep showing up in all these lawsuits and complaint threads. It's proof that you don't have to choose between your budget and your scalp's health. At the end of the day, your shampoo isn't just about how your hair looks right after you blow dry it. It's about what those ingredients are doing to your scalp, your hair shaft, and your long-term hair health over months and years. So next time you're standing in the aisle staring at those pretty bottles, remember this. Some brands are banking on you not reading past the front label, but you know better now. You know what to watch out for, which ingredients to avoid, and which names deserve a second look. If this breakdown helped you rethink what's in your shower and where your money is going, Do me a favor. Hit that like button. Share this video with someone who's always wondering why their hair won't cooperate, and make sure you subscribe to Frugal Finds for You. We test the hype, expose the fine print, and help you protect both your hair and your wallet, one product at a time.